Thank you to David Blackburn, Vrill, Watt, Caitlin Miller, James Edward Endicott, Dennis Rodolfi Jr., Ballistic Blue, Nick the Undead, Tarrant, and Degenerate Weeb Garbage. Hope you guys are doing okay. Be me. Be 18, unexperienced little bitch. Only had previous shitty job as door salesman. Somehow land substitute job as personal assistant for tards, primarily autists. Spend the first 4 days as a bystander, following older employees around and learning how to do shit. Come day 5 and I get to work alone. Anon, today you work with Anders. This nigga, Anders, a 59-year-old man with Down syndrome, fucking hates new employees. I open the door. Anders is sitting in his sofa watching TV shows about food. Anders loves food like Kanye West loves Kanye West. Turns his head to look at me with eyes hungrier than a slut's wet cunt. Stares at me for a fat minute. Who you? Hello, Anders, I'm Anon. Useless, get out! Anders is suddenly furious. What? .jpg. Anders stands up from his chair, slow as an ogre on some dank kush. Food list! Every Thursday, Anders writes a list of food stuff to buy. At 4:30. It was 11 o'clock. Not now, Anders, that's later. No! He shouts with the fury of 1,000 feminists. Anders, you write your list and suddenly the air fills up with the loudest, most inhuman screech I have ever heard. Glass shatters and birds fall from the sky like comets. Anders, the king of autism, rushes towards me, swinging his right fist like a steam-powered brick. With my cat-like moves, I dodge aside. The fuck is going on? Another screech follows as Anders leaps towards my closet, literally ripping the door off of the hinges with his superhuman downy strength. Oh shit, .jpg. Make for the fucking door while Anders bombards me with his wardrobe door. Open the door and lock that shit behind me, sealing the fearsome minotaur in the labyrinth. The other employee looks at me from the staff kitchen. Yeah, Anders has mood swings. My face when? Be third day at work. Not had to deal with Dr. Autismo ever since. Instead, I've been working with tards that are much easier to handle. Be my lunch break, eating my delicious chicken-flavored noodles. Hear a commotion from Anders' apartment. This girl at work comes charging out. Let's call her Natalie. 19-year-old, 7 out of 10 Latino with lush brown skin. Looks fucking furious, stomping into the kitchen and grabbing a cup of coffee. What happened? One of the older employees asked. Natalie stares at her for a fat minute before grumbling out. Anders had to go to the toilet. He pulled his pants and shitted Diaper off, threw it on the wall and pointed at his butt crack saying, "Slave." Anders only ever did that to her and an African lady because of their skin color. Oh yeah, Anders is racist as fuck. Be fourth day. First time working with a fairly new tard. This guy is a gypsy and is literally named Tarzan. Tarzan. Looks like a Muslim Martin Freeman. Mental age of a 4-year-old, doesn't say much except repeating questions and talking on his fake phone. I cooked this gypsy some delicious meatballs and then decided that we should play some football. As we leave his apartment, lo and behold, the monstrosity named Anders is standing in the hallway wearing nothing but a diaper. His D-cup man boobs hanging like depressed flowers on a winter morning. Stares Tarzan dead in the eye, looking like he'd just seen the face of Virgin Mary. "Whiskey," he says in a crisp voice, face colder than the North Pole. Tarzan starts laughing and slapping his knees. What the fuck, .jpg. Anders keeps staring at him, repeating his fucking "whiskey" phrase. Tarzan, with his body more fragile than my broken self-esteem in this shithole, manages to fall down and faceplant. Blood everywhere. Anders looks at him and laughs. Bang! Goes back into his room, not giving a fuck. "What lunch?" Tarzan is crying on the floor. After the Tarzan incident, I've had some time off. Come back to work again and get to work on Anders' morning shift. 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., chill as fuck. The problem is, Anders is a motherfucking zombie in the morning and hates everything. I enter his apartment at 8 o'clock when he's given his first medication. "Don't want," he says with tears in his eyes. "Yes, Anders, take your pills." He slaps them away, a scattered mess of 8 pills on his shitty floor. "I hate you, Anon." "Okay, but you still need pills." Go to his fridge so he can swallow them down with some delicious chocolate pudding. "That looks like my poop." He swallows it happily. The rest of the morning goes smoothly because of poop pills. What the fuck have I done? Fast forward about 6 months. Used to this work by now. It's all the usual. Wiping the shit of mentally retarded men is now a habit. Be working another morning shift. Anders is still the deadest in the morning. B sat on his sofa watching Community or whatever the fuck was on at the time. Anders is sleeping like a baby, snoring and drooling down his hideous man cleavage. Suddenly I hear a rustling from behind. Shitghost.jpg. I turn my head. It's Anders. He'd put his diaper on his head like an admiral's hat, staring at me with his moon face. "Kiss Daddy." What the fuck? The fat king of Downs starts dancing. "Poop Daddy." Rushes to the bathroom faster than Sonic himself could have done. Hearing him singing old rock music from the bathroom in his slurry, throaty voice. This was the beginning of the daddy era. I arrive at work one day, 7 a.m. sharp. As I step inside, I see the behind of a new girl that I have not met yet. 10 out of 10 ass, firm and fat like it should be. Turns around and appears to have bigger breasts than Anders does. What goddess is this? She had work to get to though, and so did I. I would have to wait to meet this 7 out of 10 until a later time. I go to Anders' place. Anders is in bed as usual, snoring and shit. I do the regular routine, sit at the TV. Around 10 a.m. he gets up suddenly from his bed, roaring like a furious gorilla and tossing his diaper right at me. Shit all over. OMG. Throw that shit away, face and shirt covered in Anders' godlike feces. Hurry out the door to clean that shit off. Right outside, with Tarzan, stands 7 out of 10 butt girl. All I can manage to say is, "Poop Daddy." My face when my first time talking to the new hot girl, I was literally shit-faced. At this time, I was getting quite into work. The daddy era, however, was only growing increasingly annoying. Whenever you talked to Anders, he'd respond with, "Daddy," followed by a word. Be weekend. On the weekend, Anders helps cooking in the staff kitchen, so him and 3 other retards can share dinner. Normally, they eat alone. Me and Anders are bros by now, or relatives. Apparently, I'm his daddy. Making the most repulsive smelling food I've ever been forced to make. Some smudgy liver stew. Literally, the entire building smelled of death. "Good, Daddy," Anders said happily, however, sitting in his chair and drinking water. That was how the Tard King helped. "Are you enjoying your water, Anders?" "It's whiskey." Of course. Cooking the stew from hell takes about an hour, and when it's done, we set out to fetch the other tards. One of them is an old man with heavy autism named Reno. Motherfucker has a wheelchair. Whenever he rides it into the kitchen, he imitates a police vehicle. "Wee-woo, wee-woo, wee-woo." Anders freezes at the sound, staring past me to where Natalie was standing with another tard, working today just as I was. "Hate nigger." Anders still thinks that she's an illegal immigrant to this day. Be regular Sunday morning. I work a lot of morning shifts. Since I work as a substitute, I have varying times. I wake Anders up as per usual, him simply looking up at me with his half-shut Resident Evil eyes. "Fuck, Daddy!" "What the fuck? Nope!" I go sit in the sofa while he goes back to snoring. About half an hour later, I wake up to Anders snorting himself awake, unleashing a terrified squeal. Legit sounded like a pig being shipped off to slaughter. "What happened, Anders?"
"Poop, Daddy!"
He screams at the top of his shriveled up Down syndrome lungs. "Go to the toilet, Anders."
"I can't."
Anders has a mental breakdown, falling to the floor and bawling his eyes out with an ass full of shit that started running down his side. How the fuck do I fix this? I go out to get backup staff because I can't possibly lift that elephant alone. Come back 3 minutes later to Anders sitting on the toilet with a newspaper I'd brought him the same morning. He stares at me, tilts his head, and smiles like nothing had ever happened.
"Kiss, Daddy."
Start working a lot of night shifts, 9:30 to 7 in the morning. Get paid for watching Netflix and putting Anders to bed, pretty much. Anders always comes to get me at 11:15 when his movie is over, but not tonight. I slowly sneak inside. Anders is nowhere to be seen. Suddenly stare at his shit-stained diaper being launched across the room like a catapult. The motherfucker had hid behind his sofa and awaited my coming.
"Poop, Daddy!"
Lands near my feet, so I didn't get any stains. But the room, though. Poop on the sink, on the walls, all over the floors, and on the fucking fridge. Anders crawls up from his World War II ditch, laughing.
"War, Daddy!"
He creates a finger gun and pretends to shoot me.
"Cowboy Luke!"
He'd been watching Macahans. Thought I looked like Luke Macahan. From that day on, I was the cowboy target practice. Be working regular day shift on a weekend. Anders had been cooking with a MILF working there. Me, the MILF, and Natalie are the only ones at work. Time for food. Actually, good food. We made fucking pizza. We're not allowed to eat, though. It's tard food. I eat my shitty tuna salad. The tards enter the kitchen while Anders sits in his throne, staring at Natalie. Natalie goes to fix water. Slowly, the predator rises from his seat, skulking his bouncy fat body towards Natalie, grabs her by the hips and humps the fuck out of her Latino booty.
"Slave!"
He laughs.
Dick slave, never marry you."
Natalie squirms away outraged and Anders goes back to his seat. My face when Natalie quit 1 week later. Be night shift, 11:14 p.m. It's almost time for Anders' bedtime. I leave the staff room to prepare his shit. As I walk into the hallway, another tard comes towards me. He is the heaviest of the autismos. He can't talk, only communicates with animalistic grunts and pinches. The tard is mad for some reason. He charges me like an angry bull, flailing his arms and screaming. He tries pinning me against the wall. Me being a pretty skinny guy versus a buffalo I can't fight is a bad combo. Suddenly, the door to the beast's den opens, and Satan himself emerges in his diaper and black pajama shirt. Commence rap-tard screech.
"War, Daddy!"
Anders rams right into the other autism minion like a rampaging boar. Suddenly, the two retards are fighting each other in a dark hallway, slapping each other with fight moves you'd see in the Powerpuff Girls. I manage to break them apart. They just stand there, roaring at each other. Finally, Autismo goes back to his room for sleep. Anders looks at me.
"Help, Daddy."
"Yes, Anders, thank you, but don't fight."
"I am Alpha Anders."
Be day shift, just about to get off. Exhausted and just wanting to get home for some food and a nice nap. I hear loud noises from Anders' apartment. What now? .jpg. Slowly turn back to check if something's wrong. I open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur. African woman standing inside. Her face was completely stained in searing hot taco pie that Anders didn't want. He stares at me.
"Nigger, Daddy."
Her name is Sudi, Anders, and she's good, too.
"Nigger, she's stealing."
She just got here, Anders. Anders is terrible mad at me for not agreeing with him. I thought we were bros.
"Worthless slave."
Goes to bed, face first and ass in the air in order to loudly fart and laugh at the noises. The black employee is hopeless. I had to stay an extra 2 hours and feed the behemoth. I work another night shift. I do these primarily by now. They pay the best, and they mainly have me working with Anders. Anders is my reason for staying. I perform regular chores in the house when Anders emerges from his apartment. The only time I'd ever seen him that mad was when he first met me.
TV is broken!
What? Enter the apartment with the divine being. The TV is not broken at all. It's showing some shitty TV show about a farm or some crap. It's not broken, Anders, what do you mean? Anders approaches the TV, sticking a finger on one of the people on it. A black man.
No color, Daddy.
Literally break down because this motherfucker knows it's not broken. He's just wanting reasons to be racist. That's a person, Anders.
Demon. Satan TV.
Anders flips out, picks up his remote, aims it at the black man, and throws it.
TV broke.
Dumb as fuck. Had to buy a new TV. Acted like a nightmare for 3 days because he couldn't watch TV and it's all he does. Sitting at home playing video games. The BioShock series was on sale and I'd never played the second one. Fuck yeah, hyped as fuck. Suddenly, I get a phone call. It's work.
Hi, can you come in? There's been an emergency.
Okay. Takes about 40 minutes to get to work from where I live, no biggie. Arrive at the building and there's an ambulance parked outside. They weren't joking around. I see one of the employees lying on a stretcher, face all bandaged. I go inside. 2 tard wranglers are outside Anders' room. What the fuck happened? He didn't want meatballs for lunch, so he smashed her in the face with his chair. What the fuck, .jpg? Can you work with him for the rest of the day? I am too young to die. I go inside, hesitantly and terrified of the moody human T-Rex.
Hey, Daddy.
He points at his TV.
Babes on TV.
Watching America's Top Model, touching his dick. Yes, Anders. I watch TV with him for the rest of the day, with him telling me about how he would fuck those hoes and how much experience he has with women. Work another night shift, sitting in this massage chair that they had purchased, with my laptop watching some series. I hear a noise from the hallway. I suspect it's the autism bull again. It is. He's just restless this time though, no urge to punch my face in. Autismo starts groaning, walking back and forth, not listening to my urges at getting back to bed. Smashes his head against the door to the wheelchair retard. Hear a loud thump from inside. Fuck. Managed to get Autismo into his apartment again and go to check on the policeman. He's lying on the floor screaming, "Help!" Slurrier voice than Anders, always hard to make out what it is. Help him to his feet again.
There's a burglar!
No, there's not.
Yes!
He is paranoid and probably had a nightmare. Grabs his wheelchair and rolls it to his locker. He's very independent and for some reason has an axe. Reno now has turned into a Viking on 4 wheels, singing ABBA and making his way into the hallway. Autismo has left his apartment again.
Thief!
Axeman starts chasing Autismo with his axe and wheelchair. Complicated process since he's weak as fuck. The axe was hitting the ground every time he pushed himself forward. I try to stop him, but he swings his axe at me, barely bruising my arm. This is bad. I hear a door creak open from Anders' part of the house. Not this again. Anders charges towards the rest of the tards, roaring like he always does.
Lion, Daddy!
He explained and got down on all 4s like that would fucking help. Hear another door open. Jesus Christ, .jpg. Tarzan had left his apartment, watching the scene and laughing. Anders gets up on all 4s and slaps the wheelchair Viking of desolation across the face. The old man starts screaming and returns to his apartment. Autismo does the same. Anders walks towards his own, stopping at Tarzan.
Whiskey.
Tarzan breaks down laughing again. Put Tarzan back to bed and then go clean what little blood I had on my arm off. Be working another night shift not long ago at all. It's an unusually quiet night. Anders had watched James Bond and imitated shooting me a few times, bombarded me with his diapers as had become a normality by now. Be 6 o'clock, an hour away from quitting. At this hour, I always give breakfast to the angry autismo. Walk into his apartment with a nice bowl of special porridge he eats for his stomach or some shit. There's blood everywhere, smeared on the walls, the bed is covered, his face is still running with fresh blood. He had somehow managed to smash his head open in his sleep. What the fuck do? I force him to get out of bed and go wash up and check the wound. Turns out to be very small and actually not bleeding anymore. Clean it with water and soap, all while fighting off an angry tard because he doesn't appreciate me touching his ouchie spot. He pinches me, tries strangling me. I am too fast. This process takes a long time, however, and by the time I'm nearly done, I'd gotten blood smudged over my face. I look like the William Wallace of tard wranglers. I hear the front door open. A fat land whale named Brenda, who hates me, stumbles in. Sees me with blood all over my clothes and face. Runs out of the building screaming. Tried to stop her, but motherfucker was long gone in her car. So much for being fast. The bitch had called the police and I had to explain that I hadn't murdered the autism kid. Get called in late for work one day. One of the employees had gotten sick during the day, so I had to fill in. Arrive to utter chaos. Anders, the based god of poop, had thrown a fit again. Smashed everyone the fuck up. Everyone was sitting in the kitchen taking care of the injured. One was the 7 out of 10 substitute. She'd be a 10 out of 10 if it wasn't for the terrible acne, and Anders always telling me about how he wanted to fuck her. I asked what happened. Anders touched my breast and I said no and he slapped me. Excuse myself to the bathroom and laugh for 5 minutes straight. Anders legit pimp slapped a hoe for not being obedient. Set up for having a lunch with Anders. The MILF employee warns me that he's been in a bad mood all day, which is when he tends to hit people. He wouldn't hit me because we're bros. I enter his apartment with pie because that's his favorite. Anders is sitting on his table for some reason, arms folded and really fucking upset. You want pie, Anders?
No,
he says, and sits down to eat his pie. Okay then. After he finishes his lunch in absolute silence, accompanied with hateful glares, he looks at me to speak.
Hate living in zoo.
Living in zoo? What do you mean?
Only animals here.
What animals, Anders?
Nigger monkeys all day.
The day before, all the employees had been black.
All they do is steal and eat my food.
Anders throws his bowl away and lies down crying, scared and traumatized of his nigger day. Be a regular Tuesday afternoon. 4 employees as is usual. Me, 7 out of 10 girl, African mother, and land whale. I'm not working with Anders, but since my shift was calm, I can pretty much do whatever I want while my assigned tard is resting. Be sat in the living room watching TV with some others. African mother excuses herself to talk on the phone, walks into the hallway. I hear a door creaking. It's Anders. Anders and the black person alone in a hallway is never a good sign. Wants to see what would happen though, because, well, it's the highlight of my job. Anders slowly starts moving his fat body forward in the most quiet manner he could. Drops his pants. What the fuck, is he gonna rape her? No. Anders pulls out his minuscule penis and starts peeing on the black woman, laughing, saying it's how they treat niggers where he's from. African woman breaks down sobbing and runs to wash off. Anders proudly finishes his piss on the kitchen floor and trots off.
Bye, Daddy.
Pic related to how his dick looks. Anders has a 3-day vacation. His job is staying at home, but for some reason he gets a fucking vacation. Me and other employees take him out to the park for a hot dog and a walk because the fat fuck needs some exercise. Anders wants a bratwurst with extra custard, starts waving it around in my face saying it looks like his dick. No, son. Take him for a walk like a restless dog in a park full of children. Cue the black sweet family entering, 3 children playing soccer, and the youngest waving a balloon. Little did they know the horrors to come. No one could expect the uncontainable fury that Anders had for a pack of wild black men. Anders stops in his tracks to stare at the family, squeezing the large sausage in his hands. Me and the other employee look at each other. Both of us know that shit is about to go down. Suddenly, Anders unleashes a primal roar of retardation. Me and the other employee had grabbed his arms, but somehow people with Downs seem to have superhuman strength. He drags us both with him as he angrily charges the horde of immigrants.
Niggers!
They look up, the children not used to this level of anger or racism. Anders throws his smushed sausage through the air. It lands on the youngest kid's face. He gets mustard in his eye and starts bawling. The black woman immediately gets angry and starts shouting in a broken accent about containing our man. One does not simply contain Anders.
Don't speak if can't speak,
He says, speaking just as poorly as she did.
Negro scam!
Snatches the kid's balloon and walks away. As we try to return the balloon, he pops it and laughs, stares me coldly in the eye.
Kiss daddy.
Enter Anders' apartment. He always has a 7:30 coffee and some shitty TV show on Fridays. I sit down with him to watch that shit with my own cup of black coffee. Suddenly feel something crawling up my leg. It's Anders' sticky hand. He looks at me.
Kiss daddy.
No, Anders, stop touching me. Laughs and reaches to grab my dick. I slap him away.
I wanna fuck you, daddy.
All of my what? Move somewhat away from him, but have to stay until he's finished his coffee because he'll fuck shit up if not. Anders follows, ignoring the TV and looking at me with his ravenous pedo eyes. Leans his face close to mine. Big Down's tongue slurping in and out. Not even joking, his tongue is the size of my palm and more. Slowly, his lips part and whisper the words,
Merry Christmas.
Goes back to TV and telling me about how he would fuck the women he sees on there, and how he would fuck up any potential immigrants. Regular Friday night for Anders, the man who has truly channeled his inner autism. Be winter time. Anders has run entirely out of diapers, and when that happens, it's part of his routine to fetch new ones in an outdoor shed. It's snowy now. Anders hates the snow almost as much as he hates black people. I have the unlucky displeasure of having to take him for the 3-second walk to the shed.
Don't want daddy.
Yes, Anders, we have to get more diapers.
Can poop in toilet.
No, you can't, Anders, you never do.
Can poop piss.
Not even sure what he's trying to say. Managed to get outside with him. He's in a pajama, slippers, and a thick jacket with a hood over his head. His upper body looks like a baked potato. Get outside to the snow and have to walk down a small slope. Anders has the balance of a fucking ping pong ball. Slips and falls almost instantly, rolling down the slope. Starts roaring and crying furiously, face completely covered in snow. White layers on his neck, snow in mouth. Shit.jpg. Family next door comes home from work, having walked. Anders is in a fit of fury. They were not prepared for the furious yeti that would come roaring at them.
Diapers!
He was constantly groaning without spitting the snow out. Family panics and runs inside. Anders collapses in tears. Have to get help and drag him inside. No diapers for Anders. As soon as he got inside though, the Downs King was calm again.
Get later,
he calmly said.
No poop yet, daddy.
Christmas with Anders. Be working night shift. Decided to take the 24th and 25th because they pay hella money and holidays are overrated. I enter Anders' apartment as per usual at 11:15 after he never came to get me. See him standing in the middle of the floor, fully naked. What the fuck now? Anders had gotten a Christmas tree for the holiday season. It barely had any branches. It was plastic, literally bolted to the floor because it would make a nice weapon for the cave troll of autism. No decorations. Until now. I noticed that Anders has hung a freshly pissed diaper at the top of the tree, and an actual piece of shit impaled on a branch. What the actual fuck? What did you do, Anders?
Happy New Year, daddy!
You know your holidays, you shit. Tell him to sit down so I can clean the tree up. Anders watches me do it and laughs.
White slave, daddy.
My face when Anders knows that we're all his bitches and he's the ascended god king of House Autism. Be the weekend. Everyone except for Tarzan is having dinner in the staff kitchen. Anders always has the same seat, sitting there, smugly, drinking his water. Is it carbonated, Anders? I ask because I genuinely didn't know. He lifts his glass and eyebrows like seagulls taking off.
Whiskey.
Oh, it's whiskey.
Whiskey, Daddy.
He laughs. Meanwhile, female employee crouches down to pick up bread from the bottom shelf. Anders reaches out to poke his finger at her butthole. The woman squeals and stands up quickly. Anders looks at me and grins his moon face happily.
You can put your weed in there.
The tard has been watching The Hot Chick. Not the first time he used movie quotes, but definitely the most memorable. Working night shifts again. Everything seems calm, but lights are on where they shouldn't be. I enter Tarzan's apartment. The gypsy tard is lying on his bed naked with a boner humping the shit out of a magazine with cars on it. Looks up at me with a confused face, but doesn't say a word. Okay, I'm gone. I enter Anders' apartment instead. He's sitting on his bed, holding his tiny roast beef dick, fapping. Why is this the house of sex tonight? Open the door again to leave when Anders grunts.
Daddy!
Slowly turn around to face him.
Watch, Daddy. Daddy Dick!
Leave straight away and tell him to get me when he's done.
I'm fucking hand!
I go watch How I Met Your Mother to drown my trauma. Arrive late to work because my bus driver was being a fucking retard. 2 people are gathered in Anders' apartment. I go check it out and it turns out that his table has been ripped off the floor, that along with all furniture that's bolted in place. African mother is in there. Anders was screaming and snarling like a crazed hyena.
Angry gorilla rip table!
Clearly not her because she's weak sauce.
Anders alpha, not monkey!
Not much to do, so we get Black Woman out and settle for fixing the floors because part of the plastic carpet has been ripped off along with the table. Set up temporary protection so he doesn't fall down the pit of death that he's created. But he did. Several times. 4 days after the table incident. Be working night shift, cleaning the hallway because it's part of the few things that I actually have to do to get paid. Hear a loud bang from Anders' apartment. It's finally happened. The great god has fallen into the pit of his own making. Surely his demonic form was created from such a hole. I drop what I was doing and walk to his apartment. I open the door. Anders was on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur. Anders sees me and starts screeching in his raptard way. The fall had injured his pride, and now he sought to reclaim it by challenging me to a duel of dominance. I had never before seen such determination in the eyes of neither man nor Anders. He grits his teeth somewhat and stares me pale in the eye, one leg halfway down in the hole in the floor.
Kiss, Daddy.
I think I won the dominance challenge. I help Anders stand back up, and it turns out the fear of falling had made him shit his pants. Long line up his back, somehow, as if his shit was made out of rockets. Spend 20 minutes cleaning him up from poop because wiping his ass is like going cave diving. Inches worth of fat covering his small shit cave. Get Anders back to bed clean and ready.
I want to marry you, Daddy.
But I'm your daddy.
And girl.
Oh. Anders smugly cuddles into his covers and explains how he's going to fuck his hand again. Thanks, Anders. Good night.
Love, Daddy.
Be 5 o'clock p.m. My only real break when I work the longest of shifts. 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Eating some dank food. Suddenly, Anders enters the kitchen. He is dressed in his favorite outfit. Diaper and pajama shorts that barely cover his stomach. I can see the Grand Canyon encarved into his display of fat. Grabs the broom that's leaning against the wall near him. Suddenly starts singing Hound Dog by Elvis Presley, dancing around the kitchen like he's the king of the world. No one displays any form of entertainment. We're supposed to be neutral. I crack down laughing because I cannot handle the magnificence of the creature. He drops the broom on the table.
Rockstar, Daddy!
He proudly states and returns to his apartment as if the concert had never taken place. I get yelled at for laughing at him. Just like with Christmas, I decided to snap up the holiday when it became available. It pays twice the money, so it's worth missing out on some partying. I can do that any other day. 2 of the tards aren't home because they're with family, so no Tarzan, and not the 5th one I haven't mentioned yet because all he does is sleep and eat. Anders is celebrating in his room, watching James Bond To Live and Let Die, drinking whiskey. Anders has an entire locker full of booze that he can drink at special occasions, allowed to have 1 glass but lightweight as fuck. Comes out at 10:15 asking for more. Since I'm a real bro, I decided to go for it. Why the fuck not? Bad mistake. Barely 20 minutes later, I hear loud singing from Anders' room. What the fuck? Singing the Live and Let Die song, lying on the floor. He's thrown his crisps and whiskey all over the place. He's more shit-faced than I was when he gave me the poop shower. Mistakes. Quickly take him back to his bed, or try to. It's like lifting a mountain that fights back. I must channel my inner autism and gain Anders' strength.
No, Daddy!
He utters as I fail to lift him again.
Sing to me!
What the fuck? Okay, if you promise to go into bed after.
Yes, Daddy!
Sing along with Live and Let Die, beatboxing some. Anders finds beatbox hilarious. Wants to try it too. Sounds like a noise that a walrus would make. Pressure in the throat makes him throw up. On my new sneakers. Thanks, Anders, you piece of shit. I hate you so much. Finally get him into bed and drop shoes. Had to walk home barefoot. Be working daytime. Having my lunch with the other staff in the kitchen. Made some delicious pizza for the night before. The leftovers are great. Had watched Annabelle a few days prior with my best friend. I'm fucking terrified of dolls. I tell my employees and they laugh about it, share some other fears. Little did we know that lurking in the ventilation systems was the shadowy visage of Anders, crawling like Spider-Man on the ceiling and absorbing our deepest fears. He somehow overheard the entire conversation. For some backstory, Anders has this little locker of creepy old dolls in his room from his childhood, set pretty high up, normally out of reach for him so he doesn't break it. Be 3 days later. Work nights again. Anders knows. Hear him calling for me in the only way he knew, howling like a rabid dog. Terrorists committing jihad in the room next to mine. Enter the room. Motherfucking dolls all around. On the floor, on the shelves, strung to his lamp. Anders is standing near his window, grinning cruelly.
Are you scared of none?
I hate you, Anders. Clean his shit up and put him to bed. I cry for 3 hours in the shower listening to Coldplay. Anders is the most aware and evil of all the tards. Sitting in the kitchen eating some pizza and drinking Pepsi during my night shift. It's about 10:30 p.m., so plenty of time to go before I have my quality time with Anders. Hear him screaming hysterically from his room, sounding like he'd caught someone raping his daddy. I enter the room. Anders is watching Planet of the Apes. What's wrong, Anders?
Why is Sudi on TV?
Sudi is the African mother employee. Not even sure if he's just making shit up at this point. Turn it off then.
Yes, Daddy.
Leaves his sofa to hug me. Don't really mind even if he's fat and slaps me with his man tits. He suddenly reaches up and licks my chin with his enormous tongue. The kraken was released upon the lower sections of my face. Drool everywhere. Smells like orange soda and autism.
Kiss, Daddy.
Starts humping me like a dog. Fuck this shit. Push him away and send him to bed without brushing his teeth like the bad boy he was.
Brush, Daddy?
No. Hear him wailing 10 minutes later and yield so he can brush his fucking teeth. He doesn't even like brushing his teeth. Starts complaining about why he has to brush his teeth.
Want sleep, Daddy?
Anders, why do you hate me so? Summer had just started. Warm winds blowing through the leaves of the trees. Colorful plantations spreading like laughter in a crowded room. And Anders slaying that pussy as always. Today was Anders' birthday. Officially 2 digits again. Almost 60 years old. This nigga gonna die soon. Apparently, all of his medical values are really good for someone with Downs because of the strict diet that we have him on. Today is celebration, so Anders gets to eat cake. Just cake. Since it was warm and sunny out, we decided to bring him outside for cake and coffee. He loves sitting outside. Gives him the opportunity to bark at the neighbors. He loves that shit. Anders and 2 members of the staff sitting outside. I'm in the kitchen because I need to prepare weekend food. Suddenly, I see Anders enter his random fits of fury. He grabs the cake, smears it all over the staff and himself, roaring and eating the remnants of the plastic plate still on the table. Cake and anger all over his face. The staff has to restrain him and bring him back inside because he wanted to chase after the neighbor who was out on his bike. Work the whole day shift. Hate those fucking shifts. They're as inhumane as Anders, the king of autism. Be lunchtime for Anders. I made the guy some soup, pretty standard with vegetables and potatoes. Enter his apartment to find him masturbating again. Don't even give a shit at this rate. Drop your dick and come eat.
Okay.
Sits down and begins to eat. While he does this, I hear the phone going off. Was expecting a phone call from one of the autist doctors about lung cancer. Serious shit. Leave for 5 minutes and come back. Anders had not touched his soup. When I come back in, he begins eating again, snickering. A legit snicker. He looked at me and covered his mouth laughing like a kawaii anime character. What? I ask. Anders takes a big spoonful of soup and giggles again.
I pee in soup.
What?
Prank daddy!
Eats soup again. My face when? There's a new girl at work. Her name is Hope, for some reason. What the fuck kind of name is that? Either way, it doesn't matter. She's hot as fuck. Hotter than the previous cutie. Same body type, but no acne. Fuck yeah, .jpg. Have chill shift, so managed to talk some. We hit it off nicely, talked for most of the spare time that we had. Near the end of the day, she enters the lion's den. The girl that came out had forever been changed. She had gazed into the soul of God and her soul was reformed. No one ever found out what happened inside of those hollowed doors, or ever spoke of it, except for Anders.
Kiss daddy,
was all I got out of him.
Fuck mommy.
She quit 3 days later. She must have witnessed horrors beyond comprehension of the mortal mind. Anders still talks of her sometimes. Refers to her as the woman with the butt.
I like butt woman daddy.
Me too, Anders. A warm Sunday afternoon. Going to be done with work along with half of the other day staff in an hour's time. One of us always leaves half an hour early. In this case, it was one of the older employees, most around 40 with the exception of me and a few others, all married, with kids. I am the runt. She's supposed to go to her kid's soccer game or something of the like. The husband is supposed to pick her up. Knocks on the door once there. The god notices a disturbance in his temple. Witnesses female staff and husband embracing. Anders was not a fan. Hear him charging down the hallway with his overweight body thumping like elephants on parade. Literally tackles the husband to the ground and starts licking and biting his cheek, all while screaming,
My wife!
Takes all of us to drag him away.
Wife!
Husband never dared approach the door afterwards. The few times he picked her up again, he'd wait in the car. Anders proved himself to be the alpha once more. Be me, cleaning the hallway sometime during my downtime in the day shift. Not actually part of the routine, but I do it because of a lack of things to do and because I'm great. The land whale employee approaches me out of nowhere. In Fatonian, she begins ranting about how I've done all the laundry wrong. It's badly folded, not hung properly in the drying closet. I haven't done any laundry today. The land whale does not accept my excuse and begins ranting about how I don't do laundry instead. What the fuck, bitch? Anders is on his way to get diapers with another employee. He notices us arguing. Like a ninja, he approaches me from behind, hugging me and squeezing my chest in a vague attempt to cut my tits that weren't there. Stares at the land whale.
You fatter than Santa.
She goes quiet. Didn't expect verbal abuse from Anders. He normally just punches people.
Walrus!
Anders begins making loud grunty noises into my ear. I was terrified he would throw up again because this was the Beatbox 2.0. The land whale leaves and Anders tries to lick my cheek. I stop him this time.
Kiss daddy?
No, Anders, go away.
Kiss!
Anders leaves through the front door. Victory by default. Work another night shift. That same day, Anders had been to a wedding. His sister and caretaker. She pays for all of his stuff. Anders had held a speech, saved it on a note because the staff helped him write it. He was very proud of his speech and, although tired, decided that I had to see it. It was neatly folded on the table. What I saw made my ribcage break through my skin and fly out the window into the orbit of space. Brought up the phone to take a picture and show my friends later. Congratulations on your fat day, Elizabeth. You have a sexy body, like me. I get all women. Don't eat too many cake or you will kilograms 5. That was the speech Anders gave at his sister's wedding. Anders has the confidence of a prince. Did you get laid, Anders?
Kiss daddy?
I took that as a no and put him to bed. He smiled and told me about all the cake he ate. His stomach rumbled. I can only assume wet dreams about the creamy past followed. Anders and me are cooking, frying some fish. Anders is talking about a James Bond movie he watched and I'm being disgusted by the slimy fish. It smelled like ass. We suddenly hear a sound from the hallway.
Wee-woo, wee-woo, wee-woo.
Quick, Anders, hide the weed. It's the wheelchair tart again. Anders always hated that sound.
Hate police.
We go to meet the old man to see what he wants. Meanwhile, Anders is devising a sinister plan. Slowly grabs the fish from the table. Smack! Sudden fish across the face of the wheelchair tard. The wheelchair tard falls. Chaos. Anders is laughing and slapping himself with the fish. I have to help the tard up. Anders throws the fish on the tard. The fish is now ruined. The wheelchair tard hurt his head and got a concussion. The tards have to eat fish sticks instead. Thanks, Anders. Be 5 o'clock, dinner time for most tards. I was working with a major autist who is never mentioned. When I leave his apartment, I notice someone had left the kitchen door open. Not good, .jpg. I check all the apartments. No one is missing, but there are pieces of cake missing from the fridge. Then who? I check Anders' apartment. The Titan had escaped his bonds. Quickly check all possible areas of the building. The Downs God is missing. The front door, it's partially open to air out. Oh shit. Hurry outside like Sonic. May as well have been collecting rings and listening to Weed Hills music. See a neighbor out on the street, ask if he's seen Anders. No signs of anything at all. Panic takes control of my body and my mind refuses to work properly. I check all the nearby roads, everything, ask all the neighbors. Anders is a Ninja Gaiden. Finally, I decide to search the nearby woods. I see something hanging from a tree. It's a diaper. Yes, he left a trail like Hansel and Gretel. I follow a little trail along the path until I see an abandoned old shack. Did I make it? I walk inside. On the half-rotten floorboards is a pantless Anders frantically eating leftover cake and touching his nipple. He spots me.
Cake daddy.
I will kill you one of these days, you fat flubbery fuck. Work another night shift. It's a quiet night, nothing unusual. Anders is howling at me, saying that he's the Lion King. More like the lion shut the fuck up, Anders, you stupid son of a bitch. He sleeps well and all of that jazz. I was sat on a sofa watching Netflix as usual. Around 6 in the morning, I hear sounds from Anders' room. Strange, he normally sleeps until 12 in the afternoon. I slip inside to check. Blood. Blood everywhere. Looks like something straight out of a horror movie. A long line of blood going from the bathroom and to his bed. Bloodied handprints. Anders is lying halfway on his bed, blood all over his face, 2 teeth knocked out. What the actual fuck happened? Wake him up to see if the TARDIS finally accepted the sweet embrace of death and saved me from his torture. I am disappointed to see him wake up. He pukes just as he had before. He pukes blood right onto my shoes. You fuck. I leave the apartment to call an ambulance. He spends all day there. Turns out all of his upper teeth were knocked out. Had to surgically attach them again somehow. He spent 2 weeks almost fully bandaged across his face.
Mummy Daddy.
Having the normal weekend dinner time. Most tards gathered as well as the staff. One of the few other male employees is there. He looks pretty filthy. Lip piercings, tribal tattoos, and long hair set back in a ponytail. He has as much of a temper as Anders does. Anders is staring at him throughout the meal.
Kiss Daddy.
No, Anders.
Kiss Daddy.
No, Anders.
Kiss.
No, Anders. Anders is having the time of his life being an absolute annoying shit cunt.
Kiss.
The male employee finally flips and has to leave the room to collect himself. Anders turns his piercing gaze to me.
What nigger, Daddy?
Be working the whole day shift. Spend 3 hours alone in the house with only Anders there. Anders is chilling in his apartment, sleeping. This guy seriously sleeps 17 hours a day. Lazier than me working night shifts. Decide to check up on him just in case. I hear radio blasting from inside. It's Beyonce. I open the door. Find the fridge has been broken into despite it being locked firmly so he doesn't get in it. Super strength confirmed. He is sitting in his sofa having grabbed a full bag of Pringles. We give them in bags so it's the right amount for his diet. All the Pringle ladies. Next to him is a soggy porn mag. What the fuck? He's not been allowed to have porn since I started here because it made him act even more perverted and rapey. Anders? His neck cranes like an earthworm to gaze upon my beauty.
Yes, Daddy?
Where did you find that, Anders?
Poop, Daddy.
Fuck's sake, you little shit, I'm the one asking the questions here. Where did you find the newspaper, Anders?
Toilet, Daddy.
Turns out he'd been hiding a single porn mag in the tank of his toilet for 2 years. Genius. I let him fap for another fat minute, then took it away and sent him to bed. This guy. Be out with friend on his 21st birthday. Out clubbing. End up at a table with a bunch of white women, telling them stories about Anders. They laugh and say it's admirable that people do shit like this. I don't fucking know, I do it for the money, not because I'm nice. My friend is borderline passing out. The women are drunk. I go in for the kill. I lean up close, lapping my lips and uttering the words, "Kiss Daddy."
Okay.
She says and goes for it. Overall though, she denies me, but thank you, based Anders, for almost getting me laid. Anders had been watching a lot of military movies and series lately. His favorite is Saving Private Ryan. One night, he prepares for some war roleplay with me. I enter his room unaware of the German trenches he has prepared. 11:15, sharp. The moment I enter, the motherfucker starts throwing soda at me. I'm soaked from head to toe. Sticky all over my face. Anders just gave me a sweet bukkake. With a proud grin, Anders tears off his clothes and goes for a shit.
Saving Private Anders,
he uttered and nodded. That was not nice, Anders.
Brush, Daddy.
Be working morning shift for once. I fucking hate morning shifts. I gladly stay up all night working, but leaving for bed at 4:30? Suck my dick life. Get there somewhat earlier, start at 7, but be there at 6:30. The MILF was working that night shift, but hadn't done it much. I enter the building and called out hello. There's no answer. Has she been devoured? I go on a small hunt throughout the house. Not in the bathroom, not having coffee, and not out back smoking. What the fuck? Decide to check Anders' apartment because, well, he is the root of all evil after all. I open the door and find her knocked out on the floor. Anders had laid a trap of liquid shit in front of the door, which she stepped in, tripped, and knocked herself out. Helping her felt like helping the tards who shat themselves. She is embarrassed. Anders is satisfied. None of the ordinary day workers fill in nights anymore, so I get to work nearly full time. Thank you, Anders, for all the cash money.